Welcome back. It's still daybreak on Trust TV. Of course, this is the newspaper segment of the program. As is customary, I have a copy of the Daily Trust with me. And amidst all of the issues and developments in Nigeria, the Daily Trust led with insecurity. Tinubu government mauls state police. Tinubu governors, rather. They want to kill Nigeria finally. That's according to Assistant Inspector General of Police in Nalego. It's a dangerous move, says Professor Jibrin Ibrahim. President rules out food importation, orders NSA, IGP, DSS, DG to tackle hoarding. Well, that story is on page 4. Also, we see a pictorial there of President Bola Tinubu during a meeting with state governors at the presidential villa, which held here in Abuja yesterday. Also on the belt, reps to federal government subsidize Hajj fare. Of course, you know the current cost of booking a slot to travel for this year's Hajj pilgrimage has now risen to about 4.5 million naira. Just in case you're asking the reason why the House of Representatives is calling on the federal government to subsidize the fare. That story is on page 31. Also, parliamentary system best for Nigeria, according to Dantata. Well, I don't know if that's the situation, but if you want to know more about it, you would have to reach page 14 of the Daily Trust. At the top of the page, it says parents of students abroad battle to pay fees. This is, of course, as a result of the rising exchange rate, 1,600 naira today. That story is on page 3. It says dollar hits 1,600 at the parallel market. Well, I already mentioned this, but read up on that story on page 23. And finally, truck owners to stop lifting petrol on Monday. The question, will this lead to another fuel scarcity? Only time will tell, but read more on the details on page 24 of the Daily Trust. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Daily Trust this morning.
All right, let's get to The Guardian, and it's screaming with a lot of pictures that needs some sort of development here. The big story says unsporting behavior as a kicker, abandoned facilities dot landscape and retard sports potential and growth. That's a big story. The Guardian newspaper, page 4 and 5, accommodate that story. And the federal government governors partner on state police and food crisis, page 3 in The Guardian. Read up on that. And blame states for hardship faced by citizens. All right, blame states for hardship faced by citizens. You just might want to know who's making the statement. Page 7 of The Guardian newspaper has details of this story. And then disquiet in National Assembly as junior workers reject tenure extension for senior staff. Get that detail on page 7 of The Guardian newspaper. NNPC and Total Energies JV achieves zero routine gas flare. Page 17 has details. Obi demands probe of alleged 3.5 billion naira malfeasance in Labour Party. Page 3 of The Guardian newspaper has details. And food crisis worsens misery as inflation rises by 7.48% under Tinubu. All right, and we have another story. How Buhari wrongly approved $10 million gas contract to NDPHC. Wow. All right, page 16 has details. And Showore to sue for damages as federal government withdraws treason case. Page 7 has details. And that's about the stories we have in the front page of The Guardian newspaper for this morning.
And very quickly, we now go to This Day newspaper. Start atop the page. It says, CBN restricts export proceeds, repatriation by oil companies. Pegs maximum allowable outflow at 50% in first instance. Balance of 50% after 90 days. Bans payment of PTA, BTA by cash. OK's electronic channels to stem abuses, enhance transparency. Reviews allowable limit of price deviation for exports, imports. Well, that story you can continue reading on page 5 of This Day. And just on the belt, we see NUPRC considers movement of select units to Lagos to enhance service delivery. That story is also on page 5. And of course, if you would recall, just a couple of weeks ago, the CBN and also Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria had also considered moving its operations to Lagos as well. Well, it had generated some controversy in some quarters of the society, but then again, there you have it. Also, Christopher Kolade, Shaguri brothers, NGX visit Wigwe Ogumbajo's families. That story is on page 23 and is on the heels of the unfortunate demise of the CEO of Access Bank Holdings, as well as a former DG of the NGX. Higher food energy prices pushed inflation to 29.90% in January. CPPE rise in prices putting pressure on manufacturers, aggravating poverty. Also on page 5. Tinubu, 36 governors, more creation of state police to meet again on modalities. Will this become the reality? Remember, the issue of state police has been on the front burner for quite some time, including during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Orders NSA, DSS, IGP to clamp down on hoarders of food items. Say no to food importation. Approve training of forest rangers to man forest. The president said, we must not allow speculators, hoarders, rent seekers to sabotage availability of food to Nigerians. Forecloses setting up Commodities Price Control Board and State Police. What does the Constitution say? Well, these are some of the stories on this day, and of course, we will now be starting the conversation we have in the studio. Malam Nuruddin Abdullah, he is the editor at 21st Century Chronicle. Of course, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Good morning. The president mentioned that we distributed another 42,000 tons of grains to Nigerians to mitigate the attendant food crisis that we're currently facing. So we did one initially, a couple of trailers of rice and 5 billion. Well, some governors used that money to pay salaries. Some used it to do other stuff. But at the end of the day, we met it with many Nigerians coming out to say, look, these things did not get to us. And now the government, on the heels of its meeting yesterday with governors and the president, is saying, perhaps we need forest rangers, perhaps we now need a state police to address some of these issues to ramp up food production. Where does your mind take you when you think of all of these things?
I think, unfortunately, the governors, who are in charge of the subnational, they are, let me say, misleading the president.
How so?
Thank you. We do things without proper monitoring and evaluation. Let's look at it this way. What is the performance ratio of those trucks, whatever that was distributed?
The success rate of distribution. So there was no evaluation?
Where is it? Or rather, those palliatives, as we normally call them, when the governors were giving money, they went to as far as farmlands to be buying paddy.
That was what caused rice to become scarce.
Not even that triggered the cost of food. We are now just at the harvest season. What happens in the next 3, 4, 5 months? When the rainy season set in. Go to the villages. The local rice, the normal major is 2,000. In some places, 2,002.
Yes.
Just after harvest. That is one. And secondly, now they are back again, modeling state police to tackle insecurity. Yeah, they have security votes and whatever, but nobody asks what are they doing with it. Nobody questioned them. Mr. Segir, Hajamar, everybody is talking National Assembly. More than half, we budgeted about 22, right? Trillion. More than that amount has been budgeted by the subnationals. Nobody's talking about it.
26 trillion.
Thank you. Nobody's talking about it. More importantly, having state police, allowing Governor A, B, C, X, Y, Z to own their own state
To be in
police
charge of the security
will
apparatus
not
of their state.
root out the Turjis, the Kachalas of this world. Rather, we are in a situation where some governors are using federal police to harass, intimidate opposition. For me, state police is not, it's just one, it should be a troika. And the reform should go concurrently. There should be political autonomy of the local governments, as well as fiscal autonomy of the local government. As we are speaking now, almost the 774 local government chairmen received their alerts. By the NFIU order, they receive their money directly. But do you know what they do? Because they are not independent, even where they were elected. In a situation, in Kogi, there will be a local government election. The ruling party now, APC, right, will clear all the local government chairmen and councillorship seats. It happened in Kano. 44 local government chairmen, hundreds of councillors, all to the ruling party. There should be, they have fiscal autonomy now. But the same local government chairman, even where they were so elected, will now write all the checks and go to His Excellency and deliver it, leaving their domain. In some local government, majority of them, they only go to the local government when the allocation is coming. Pay salary, the remnant the governor left for them will be shared between the top guys. There should be political autonomy. State Electoral Commission should stop conducting local government elections. It should come back to INEC. In Abuja now, that is why ABGA is winning local government election, just after the 6th local government. Imagine if, let's say, the FCT minister is the guy that is in charge of the Electoral Commission. Wow. It is either be APC or PDP. So the reform, the constitutional amendment, particularly not state police alone. Yes, they can have state police, but with an autonomous, independent local government system and independent local government in terms of fiscal policy. That's the way to go. If not, now the governors are now so powerful. They decide who even becomes the president. You understand? So that is the situation. They are just, they're chasing shadows. Just to be, Tinubu was former governor. And now they came back. Simple example. During the last National Assembly, there was constitutional amendment to give independence to the local government. All the majority of the state assemblies, voted against it. So, we know one. Even the state legislatures, they should be independent, just like the National Assembly. First line charge, all these kinds of things. Majority of them voted no, we don't want it. We want to curtail the whims and caprices of the chief executive of the state. Even journalists. Some governors are using federal police, federal security agents to harass even journalists because of uncomfortable reports they read. Not to talk now, they have their own police.
So bearing in mind
So
that,
you're saying that it's not a good move?
No, at all. Whoever is envisaging this must have a rethink.
On the Daily Trust, it also says parents of students abroad are battling to pay fees. Let me trickle to the next one. As dollar hits 1,600 naira at the parallel market.
So it's really unfortunate. And my thinking is this. The economic team assembled by President Tinubu need to be reviewed. What is really happening? What is really happening? Yes, like we said severally here, the unification of the dollar and the forex regime, was fantastic. But the dollar is moving to 2,000 in less than 8 months. Yeah, he, you know, abolished all 400 and 500, I want to and took it to the INE. But what is really happening? CBN, according to what they are telling us, they have cleared almost all the backlogs.
Indeed. I think it's around 2 billion left.
Yes.
2 billion, yes.
What is really happening? I saw Reps talking about heart. Out of the 95,000 slots given to Nigeria, the last time I was speaking to one of the officials, the 75 for the state, as of January 31st, you know, they had deadline, 3 deadlines. The third deadline has elapsed.
February 12th.
So I don't even know what they're doing now.
February 12th.
So they're
12th
almost
was the last
about
one.
just barely 20, less than 25,000.
So they've done less than 50%.
Of course.
And then you saw that there was an increase in this year's allocation. So, but we're not hitting the benchmark.
You understand what that means? Even when they release the fare, you understand, they're not even talking about the BTA.
So what does this mean for ordinary Nigerians? Does it mean that some of the students whose parents work here in Nigeria and earn in Naira might start considering calling their wards back home because they cannot cope with the exchange rate? Because what it was 4 years ago,
Well, it's not what
it's
it is
nothing
now.
compared to what it is right now.
You know, Buhari started this problem. You know, he almost killed the university system. Children were at home for nearly a year. So the foreign education, you understand, if you quantify the time spent, so you have a kid that wants to study medicine. In Nigeria here, if care is not taken in the public university, he may spend up to 10 years.
11 in some cases.
You understand. So you can see that. By the time he comes in Daily Trust place an advertisement, yes, he should be between 23 to 26. However, he has spent a whole decade in the university. So that is why many people go to this foreign university. At least you are sure. And you know, they are not big men. I know a family that they will gather money, change it, and send it to his account. And you will go every month to withdraw. Buy food, pay rent, you know, they charge rent monthly.
Indeed.
And what if you? And some transport to the university. When Buhari came, it was hell. And now it is even became more because our currency is getting worthless. Our neighboring, how much is the exchange rate between Naira and Sefa of Nigeria Republic? Sefa is about 2,000 now, they said. When Buhari came, it was 270. That is why even the Tukumbo cars that we used to buy from Cotonou and celebrate and do Thanksgiving, we cannot buy it now.
Well, I do hope in the short, medium, and long term that we will be able to address this issue. But for right now, my director is telling me that we've run out of time and this conversation cannot continue. But then it's been a lovely package this morning, and of course, having Malam Nuruddin here to, as always, share perspectives, objective perspectives on the issues, and still hoping that he would give me my palliatives. I mean, this time it's for 2,000 tons. Even if it's just 2 tons, I mean, Malam Nuruddin, you should
when
give
we
me
have
my
the state
palliatives.
police, don't worry.
Okay, so when we have the state police, well, it's been a lovely ride from the beginning of the show, from 8 a.m. till now. I do hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I do hope it's been insightful for you, because for me, I learned a lot, especially about the situation of Nigeria, where we are and where we need to be. From me, it's thank you so much for being a part of this journey, and we do hope to catch you next time. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Have a lovely weekend.
And don't forget that at the top of the hour, flipping the conversation to sports, you want to know what's happening after the African Cup of Nations, and also where your best players are sure to be next season or this season, for the rest of the season. Then you have to join us at the top of the hour for 360 Sports. But then my name is Martia Umar. Thank you for being a part of the show. See you again.